I want to be the Melbourne Cup. The first Tuesday in November is the race that stops the nation. I am Farley. I am
G'day world, we're Lew Dub with another edition of Personal Best.
Welcome to another Staying the Distance Melbourne Cup special. On today's show we're focusing on the jockeys. We'll take a look at a list of Melbourne Cup runners who have already got jockeys penciled in. Then we'll check out the last 15 Melbourne Cups with all the place getters and their jockeys and barrier positions. But first we're taking a trip around the Flemington Racecourse from the 3200 metre Melbourne Cup starting point. My graphics guy has overlaid this vision with some comments from star jockeys Corey Brown and Darren Beadman. The comments from Brown can be sourced at racenet.com.au, where he was asked to describe the tactics and mindset for his Melbourne Cup ride on Finch back in 2019. Meanwhile, Beadman's comments are from my own Melbourne Cup archive, got an old cutout article from the Daily Telegraph, November the 2nd, 2003. Once I've got him going the first 100 metres, I'm mindful of the horses starting to come across from the wider gates. Ideally, you want to have your horse settled into the race and following something you consider to be a good chance with a good jockey aboard. Conserving energy is the key. Your horse needs to be switched off and relaxed. When you get around near the 1800, you have to be looking for horses that have been posted wide out of the straight. You generally find that there will be a few moves because the tempo starts to come out of the race. This is where the horse in front of you should be taking you into the race. You have to be alert as to what's going on around you to work out what has a chance and what's already dropping out. You have to be going forward at this stage of the race where your chances are done and dusted. You also have to have eyes in the back of your head, because if one behind you can see you're travelling, in the blink of an eye they can be up and around you, putting you in a pocket. It's a long straight at Flemington. You don't want to be pushing your horse along at the turn. If you are, then you have no chance. If you're not on the back of the right horse taking you into the race, you're up against it. That's where the race is won or lost. Timing is everything now. You don't want to hit the front too soon, and you still need your horse to have an extra kick to fight off any late challenges. Oh, I didn't know you were here. Look, I just wanted to give you some notice that the video you're watching was actually produced in 2020. In January of 2021, YouTube cancelled my channel totally. They conspired with racing.com because apparently I was using some of their video content and they didn't like that. They're very selective about who they ban, YouTube. Why is that?
Get locked and loaded with WishBet. WishBet. There's a new sheriff in town.
Okay, that list of jockeys. Jamie Carr was recently announced as jockey for Prince of Arran. That came about after Kiwi Michael Walker jumped off the 7-year-old for the chance to ride Dashing Willoughby, another British raider. Interestingly, those two at the top of the list are no certainty to start in the Melbourne Cup, but both Skywood and Ash Run are nominated for the Geelong Cup on Wednesday, 21st of October. A quick reminder of those acceptance fees for the Melbourne Cup. The next payment of $4,000 is due on Monday, 26th of October. It seems a bit of who will blink first is going on. Very few have actually withdrawn their horse at this stage. Now for the winning jockeys from the last 15 years of the Melbourne Cup. When I set out on this research, I had a theory that perhaps Victoria-based riders would have had a stronger record in the Melbourne Cup than jockeys from other states or from abroad. But in my data, which is limited, I found a very even spread of jockeys and jockey origin across the place getters. Something to note also is that I've classed Brett Preble as an overseas rider for the reason that the years that he was placed in the Melbourne Cup, he was actually based in Hong Kong. But if you were to add Preble to the list for the Victorian jockeys, you would see a trend towards them as being the preferred and most successful. I have to add too that a more thorough research would be to include all jockeys, so that would be 24 jockeys for each race, and dividing them up into Victorian jockeys, New South Wales jockeys and foreign-based jockeys. One thing that did become obvious was the rarity that on-pace runners came from a wide barrier and actually placed in the Cup. And wide is the category of 17 to 24 in the case of this study. So there were just 3 placings out of all 45 placings that I've recorded. And so to finish off, we'll just take a look at some pie charts where we can see those successful jockeys and their place of origin, primarily favouring Victoria. And if you add Brett Preble's rides, that would make 18 placings, and overseas riders just 12. Here the barrier positions, you can see favouring barriers 9 to 16, the most success. And wrapping up, don't forget it's a bumper day of racing. Here in Australia we've got the Caulfield Cup, Everest for the sprinters, and if you're staying up late you can have a look at the Long Distance Cup from England, a 2-mile event over there. Well, that's all for this edition of Staying the Distance, and for me, the Caulfield Cup, I'll be on warning.